You know that feeling when you feel pulled in two different directions? Like there's a part of you that's totally logical and another part that's purely intuitive? Well, it turns out ancient spiritual traditions had this incredible symbol for bringing those inner opposites together, the sacred marriage. Today, we're going to dive deep into this universal idea by looking at two amazing myths that pretty much give us a map for how to find wholeness.
All right, so here's the plan. First, we'll get a handle on what this mystical union of opposites is all about. Then, we're going to see it play out in two epic stories, Egypt's tale of regeneration and Gnosticism's story of redemption. After that, we'll bring it all back home and figure out what this marriage means inside of us. And we'll wrap up with a practical path to finding that sense of wholeness for ourselves.
So if you look at pretty much any spiritual tradition, you'll find this core idea that everything, and I mean everything, is built on a kind of dance between opposing forces. And it's not a battle, right? It's more like these two essential energies that absolutely need each other to create a complete picture.
And this really breaks it down for us. You've got the feminine principle on one side, think water, intuition, the moon. It's that receptive, creative, nurturing energy. And on the other side, you've got the masculine, fire, logic, the sun. This is the active, structured, get-it-done force. Now for our stories today, the really key pair to lock in is at the bottom there, the Egyptian goddess Isis and the god Osiris.
Now, here is the absolute key. The sacred marriage isn't really about ancient gods and goddesses getting hitched. It's a powerful symbol for what's supposed to happen inside of us. It represents that moment when we finally bring our own masculine and feminine sides into harmony, building a bridge between our everyday self and our deeper spiritual core.
Okay, so let's see how this actually works with our first amazing story. We're heading back to ancient Egypt to explore the myth of Isis and Osiris. It's this incredible drama about love, being broken into pieces, and in the end, rebirth.
This myth was absolutely central to Egyptian spirituality. It was their way of showing how a sacred union has the power to create new life, even out of total destruction. So, picture this. Osiris, who represents divine order, is viciously murdered and literally torn to pieces by his brother Set, who is the embodiment of chaos. His body parts are scattered all over the land. I mean, what a perfect metaphor for being completely fragmented, right? But his wife, the goddess Isis, using her deep devotion and intuitive magic, which is the feminine principle in action, tirelessly searches for and finds every single piece. She puts him back together, and their reunion is so powerful it actually conquers death itself, leading to the birth of their son, Horus.
What's so brilliant about this is the message. The dedicated, intuitive, feminine energy of Isis is what restores the broken, fragmented masculine form of Osiris. And out of that new wholeness, something new and divine is born. It's a cycle of regeneration that's really grounded in the rhythms of the earth. All right, now let's switch gears and look at a totally different version of this story, this one from the early Gnostic Christians. For them, the sacred marriage isn't about earthly regeneration. It's a huge cosmic drama about redemption and rescue.
So, in the Gnostic view, the problem starts at the very top. There's this divine feminine energy named Sophia, which literally means wisdom. And out of this intense passion to know everything, she acts on her own and, well, she falls from the spiritual world, a place they call the Pleroma. Now, this isn't seen as a sin. It's a cosmic tragedy. A piece of the divine itself gets lost and trapped in the messy material world that she accidentally helped create.
So, in comes the masculine principle, the Christ figure. But his job here is completely different from the traditional story. He's not here to save humanity from sin. He's on a cosmic rescue mission. His one and only goal is to go down into the material world, find the broken, suffering Sophia, and give her the special knowledge, the gnosis, that she needs to remember her true self and find her way back home. The reunion happens in what the Gnostics called the bridal chamber. And, this isn't a literal place, it's a state of consciousness. It's a symbolic marriage that heals everything. It doesn't just save Sophia, it actually redeems the entire cosmos by fixing that huge split between the spiritual and the material worlds.
So let's just put these two side by side for a second. The Egyptian story of Isis and Osiris, that's all about regeneration. It's about bringing a physical body back, beating death, and creating new life here on Earth. But the Gnostic story of Christ and Sophia is all about redemption. It's a cosmic mission to rescue a fallen spirit and heal the entire universe. One is earthy and cyclical. The other is cosmic and, you could say, a one-time event.
Okay, so we've been talking about ancient myths, gods, and huge cosmic dramas. But the real power in these stories is what they tell us about ourselves. So what does this ancient symbol actually mean for us in our own lives right now? Let's bring this whole thing down from the cosmos and into our own inner world.
And that's really the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, these stories have stuck around for thousands of years for a reason. They're not just fairy tales. They're symbolic maps. They're blueprints for an inner journey of coming together that every single one of us is on.
And that inner journey leads to what's called the mystic marriage. It's the same idea as the sacred marriage, but it's happening inside you. It's like this inner alchemy where you finally unite all your fragmented parts. The psychologist Carl Jung had a name for this. He called it individuation, the process of integrating our inner masculine and feminine sides to become a whole, self-aware person.
So, where does the journey start? It usually begins with what the old mystery schools called the feminine mysteries. Think of this as the path of water. It's all about flow, intuition, emotion. It's about waking up to our inner world, learning to trust our heart, and being open to deeper truths. This is the work of Isis, right? Patiently gathering all the lost pieces.
Then, once that inner awakening starts to happen, the journey moves on to the masculine mysteries. This is the path of fire, focused, disciplined, active. This is all about taking that inner wisdom you've been cultivating and actually using it with purpose out in the real world. This is the work of Christ, taking focused action to bring about order and redemption.
Okay, this all sounds really good, but how do we, actually do it? This last part is all about the practical steps we can take on this incredible journey of integrating our inner opposites so we can reach a more unified, higher state of being.
You can kind of break the path down into 3 main stages. First, you have to work with your lower self, transforming those raw, instinctual drives into more refined energy. Second, you focus on boosting your heart intelligence, really learning empathy, compassion, deep intuitive knowing. That's the feminine awakening. And finally, you get to integration, where you consciously balance the masculine and feminine sides to create that beautiful, harmonious union inside.
And at the end of the day, that's the whole point. It's not about choosing one side over the other. It's about embracing the Isis and the Osiris within you, the Sophia and the Christ within you. When you can hold both your intuitive side and your logical side in perfect balance, you move past all that inner conflict. You achieve a state of wholeness that is the real foundation for a more aware, more enlightened life.
And so, that leaves us with one final and really important question. These ancient stories can show us the way, but the journey, well, that's all yours. So what part of you, your intuitive side or your logical side, the part that receives or the part that acts, is asking for your attention right now? The path to that sacred marriage within you is always, always waiting.